I'm out here in one of my workshops, which is a complete and total mess, but I needed a table and a place that I could do this. I don't have my microphone on, but whatever. And I wasn't planning on making a video about this, but I got this and I thought, I really should document this because there's a lot of people out there that might be going through the same things I'm going through. And if you go back and look at my old videos from about 6-7 years ago, you'll see that I built the 2013 Mac Pro, as they know it, the trash can computer. And probably I spent almost $5,000 on that system. Now it's time to upgrade it. And I'm looking to get the new Apple Mac Studio Pro, the M2 Ultra, top of the line. And so getting ready for that, we're gonna go into that video soon after I get the computer, but I needed some storage. And I was looking at putting together a large hard drive array, and I didn't want to use a traditional RAID using spinning hard disks. So I wanted to build a RAID out of SD drives, solid state drives. I bought 5 4-terabyte drives, got them super cheap on Amazon, and I got this Sabrent, I think I'm saying that correctly, Sabrent. This is really cool. This is the first time I'm seeing it. I'm opening it up. Sort of an unboxing, if you will. I don't really do unboxings, but here we go. The reason I wanted this particular unit is going to be very obvious. It's very lightweight. It's kind of a cheap plastic, honestly. But hey, it's going to do the job. Okay, so what's cool about this thing here, and this was only, I think, $150. It's just an enclosure that holds 5 of these drives. Now I paid about $1,180 for this system, the 5 drives, and I also had to get this cable, which is a Thunderbolt, original Thunderbolt to USB-C Thunderbolt 3 or 4, because on the back of the Mac Pro trash can, you have like 6 of those Thunderbolt ports like that, and I need to be able to go to USB, which is USB-C, which is what this uses. What's great about this is it's magnetically held on, right? And you just simply have the 5 enclosed, slots for the 2.5-inch drives, and then this magnetically goes together to operate the fan. On here is a controller to simply turn the unit on and off, and then a fan speed control, so it doesn't automatically moderate the temperature in the fan. You have to do that manually. So like basically if you're going to be using this thing super hard and working it, you're going to want to reach over there manually and crank up your fan. But the cost of these SD drives has gotten pretty cheap. I mean, for less than $200, you can get a 4-terabyte drive now, and there's pretty much no setup required to these. Now, think about this though, right? This just, okay, so each of these just simply plug in. Wow, this is paper thin. It weighs nothing. It's just a memory stick, really. So it looks like, is that it? It can't be that simple. Let's see here. It doesn't quite, it kind of sticks out a little. It's kind of strange. But I guess that's gonna how it is. These are much less than the two, than the normal thickness of a drive. Here's the deal, okay, financially. If you didn't mind having spinning hard disks, you could have much more space for the money. Considering I'm gonna end up with 20 terabytes of SD into a single RAID, because this is a hard RAID. Wait a minute, where's this switches at on this? When I ordered this, it was supposed to be, I could have sworn this had a switching mode to it, that you could select what type of RAID you wanted rather than doing a software RAID. Well, I'll have to double check that. I could have sworn that this was what was called like a switchable RAID system, where you could go select the type of RAID without doing it in software. That makes it a shuttle. That way, whenever you take it to any system and plug it in, it automatically sees it as one drive. I didn't want to have to do it as a software, even though I'm never going to use it on another system. It's only going to be on one system. I prefer having a hard switched RAID rather than one you select. However, they may have changed that. Maybe I was wrong about that. Maybe I was looking at a different one. I'll look. Here's the deal though. If I wanted to have spinning discs for the same amount of money, I could have had 80 terabytes of RAID for the same amount of money, damn near, by putting much larger spinning disk drives in it. Barracudas, you know. But I wanted this to be completely solid state. Now, there's a lot of people out there that will tell me, Bob, if you'd use the NVMe, whatever, the other style, I mean, I probably should have done that. Those are faster. But here's the deal. When you look at the price of things, this was the cheapest solution and simplest solution at only this much money. I mean, these things weigh nothing. They weigh nothing. This thing weighs nothing. They run cool. They're more robust. They're made to be hard drives and run perpetually. I didn't even look to see what's it. Oh, this is the power supply. Power supply, and look, they gave me a nice USB cable, but it's not the one I need, which is a Thunderbolt. And then of course the power supply. I'm not gonna plug it in yet. All right, I'm looking at my purchase. I got this in one day, by the way. So I guess I wasn't paying attention. I could have sworn that this was one of the hard switched ones, but it isn't. Okay, but anyway, it cost 150 bucks prime. Now you could also get a 4-bay in this other style. You know, they have different versions of it. This is what I was looking for though. Okay. Now looking at my purchases here. Let's see what I bought. So here's the hard drives that I bought. $184 for a 4 terabyte. Right. And, you know, they're going to be fast enough. Plenty fast enough for me. So I bought these literally yesterday and they are here now. I mean, I bought them last night, like late last night, and they're here. Crazy. Here's some examples of some of the other ones I was looking at. Like this one, I think this is the one that had the switches on it. I was looking at this unit, it was 180 bucks, 5-bay. And maybe this was the better unit. Yes, this one had this actual switches on it. And I don't know why I picked the Sabrent over this one. I could always order this Enclosure and send the other one back. You know, it wouldn't take any effort. But look at that, you can put up to 80 terabytes in this thing. And it is aluminum. I think the reason I didn't pick it is just because it was so much larger. It's made to carry bigger drives. Although it does match the motif of the Apple Mac Studio Pro. But that was a consideration. Let's see. This one as well. I was thinking about going with a different form factor. These take the NVMe SSDs. This whole thing was $400. And this is probably a better unit, of course. And probably be a lot faster. But the price of the NVMe was kind of comparable, but not quite. They are much faster. But when you're talking about 5 of these drives together, okay, I mean, you're not going to be able to get it to go. It's going to be 10 gigabytes a second. That's fast. Fast enough for file transfer and general stuff, right? So I think it's a pretty cool unit. You can see that these don't fit correctly. Like, I don't know if it's going to matter that these aren't directly upright, that they're sticking in there in this way, because this is made to hold a much, thicker hard drive. That kind of bothers me that they're like that. But I guess it won't make a difference. This is a hot swap unit. But these are these 4 terabyte drives, which, there's just a little memory stick in there basically, and they've adapted it to this. But as long as it's making good contact, which it is. I guess it doesn't matter that they sit that way. And you can see that there's some power contacts here. And then just this simple little fan. And once I'll probably put this on like the low setting. Let's see if I can plug it in, if I can find myself a plug over here. It won't hurt anything just to turn it on. We'll just turn it on. I don't hear anything.
Of the docking station, we have a USB 3.0 port, we have a set button.
Okay, so this is the part that messed me up. Because when I watched the video on this thing, they were showing the USB 3, which I'm not really versed in, but this is what I was looking at right there. I thought that they all had that on there. And that's where I got that impression. I didn't realize that the USB-C version was soft RAID only. So yeah, the fan is running. It's just so quiet and it's low flow that, like, I don't know if I can separate this with one hand. I can't. There it goes. See, it's spinning and it stopped. So basically, it's just very, very quiet and low. That's fine with me. You know, I'm not going to be putting these under that much stress, honestly. Well, I figured since this iMac that's out in my office has USB, let's just hook it up to that. I'm going to turn it on for the first time. Oh, look at that. They're accessing. Look at this. Now, I haven't done a software RAID like this in a very long time. So I haven't initialized, ejected, or ignored any of these. I went to RAID Assist where it says striped RAID 0, because that's what I want. Next. And then I can select those 5 drives. Hit next. Name untitled. Do I want it Mac OS journaled or Mac OS extended? I don't know, guys. Chunk size. What do I want? I can always do it again. Let's just do it as it suggests. Create the RAID 0 set untitled out of these drives. Why is they? Well, I don't know why they're out of order. Creating the partition map. And now I don't know if I was supposed to initialize these or not, but I know that I'm supposed to go to the, you know, you go to disk utility, you go to file, you go to RAID Assist. And I don't know how long it takes for this to do its thing, but it's doing something, creating a RAID set. Now at the end of this, there should be, it's not going to be 20 terabytes because there's going to be, you know, sections. So maybe it's 18 terabytes. Still a lot, more than I'll ever use. Oh, it wants to make it a time machine. Don't. Okay. Done. Now, I have untitled. It just says 20 terabytes. Do I put ignore on these? I'll put ignore. All right, now I have this drive. And there it is. And now I have an untitled drive, get info. MFR says it's 20 terabytes. It says it's used 1.27 gigabytes, so it's just not counting. It's just rounding up. Okay. Like, wow. Well, I thought I would get the Blackmagic Design speed test here. Now this computer, this is an old, not an old iMac, but it's a 3.16 core Intel. You know, it's all right. But I've selected this drive here, and we'll let it run a test and see what the results are. This thing is totally silent. There's no more mirror coming out here. I don't really know how this test works, I got to be honest. It keeps just doing the same thing over and over. It seems to write faster than it reads. keep in mind, I'm going regular USB-C into this old iMac. So these are the results. And it's, it's not slow. I mean, let's try this. I have this project I was working on for Tamale King. It's a friend of mine. So that's a 3.5 gig folder. Let's just drag that. Now, keep in mind, this is a 250 gig physical drive on this Mac. And that took 2 seconds. So it's not slow. I mean, is it as fast as some of the other things that are out there that are even faster? So, okay, so bottom line is what? What's the bottom line? So I have a 20 terabyte SSD for $1,200. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But I have a 20 terabyte SSD RAID that's silent, will basically last forever. It's not gonna ever break. It's quiet, uses very little power, and I'll probably never exceed this. Now, for a lot less money, I could have went with a lot less space. For way more than half, I could have done, if you go look on Amazon, so you figure 5 of those would be $500 plus this would be $650, so $700, right? But 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, another $500, you get double the space. So that's, it's basically double. So you're paying $100 per 2 terabytes, but that's not always the case, right? But think about this. If you could put together for the same money I spent on this, an 80 terabyte RAID if you were using traditional hard drives, right? Of course, nobody needs that. Now, if you're trying to do a network server put all your movies on it, this isn't the unit you would want to use for that necessarily. This is just being used for storage. And really, I'm not even working from this drive. But we're going to talk about why I'm doing this in the first place. I store just all my YouTube videos and all my storage. You have storage, photos and memories and all that. And right now, I have a 16 terabyte RAID made out of 2 8 terabyte drives, and I'm only using half of that. But I like to go big or go home. I like to future-proof stuff, and I thought the price was about right for this right now. So I'm gonna hook this up to the trash can. I'm gonna offload all my stuff onto it, and then when I get the new Mac Studio Pro, once I feel confident that everything has been moved off of the computer, then I'll delete the other one. But I want to make sure I got everything. And I'm sure it's going to be a lot faster going from Thunderbolt, and this is just regular USB-C on an old iMac. That 12-core machine with the Thunderbolt is going to transfer much faster. And I think 20 terabytes is just more than enough. I say that now, but maybe a couple hundred projects later, I'll be looking for more storage, and we'll see at that point. But for now, this will be and I could work from this drive too. Something that we'll talk about when I start putting together the Mac Studio Pro is that a lot of people say just get the base model, get the 500 gigabyte or the 1 terabyte or the 2 terabyte or whatever. Use that as your working drive, and then put everything else on a external and work from that. And you can. And I'm looking into that. I'm trying to decide between a 4 terabyte or an 8 terabyte machine. If I get the 8 terabyte fully loaded Mac Studio Pro, I'm going to spend over $8,000 or something on that machine. If I go with the 4 terabyte version of the same machine, I could save, $1,000 or more. But having that internal storage and memory to work from when you're doing a project all on the same drive, it'll have 192 gigs of memory and 76 core, GPU. That's the power you want when you're rendering video, when you're doing video and audio and editing. And I've never been a gamer, so I've never done gaming. I just wanted to share this. I will put a link in the description if you want to go look at this thing. You can go look it up yourself. I'll put an affiliate link to this and the hard drives that I bought if you wanted to recreate it. You can do a smaller version of it. And just keep in mind, if you wanted to, you could get 1 and 2 terabyte drives really cheap. But here's the deal with that. There's just not a lot of reason to raid together a bunch of small drives when you can go buy a 5 terabyte drive for $100 at Costco. But it's not that fast. But if you're just using it for storage, it doesn't really matter. But you could use this as a working drive. So if you have a really fast computer, let's say a MacBook Pro, and it only has a terabyte of onboard memory or something, you could have a 20 terabyte drive. And here's the thing, it's pretty future-proof. I mean, obviously technology changes. Who knows what's going to come out later in the future, aside from USB-C and other things. But you can bet that for the next 5, maybe 10 years, we're still going to be using USB-C, right? So you could have this 10, 20 terabyte RAID drive and move it from computer to computer as you change computers. It's very lightweight. It's solid state except for the fan. It's dead quiet. The chances of one of the drives failing is pretty slim. It's just not gonna. So that's what I did today. This is not a technology channel. Don't subscribe for that reason. But I am Videobob, and I got to edit my videos, and I'm upgrading my system, and you're coming along with me if you watch. So maybe you learned something about hard drives today. Maybe you already knew. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know. Tell me in the comments. Anyway, that's my 20 terabyte Sabrent RAID 0. Thanks for watching.